I've got a lawn space back here that's got a lot of clover growing in it. If I let this clover continue to grow up, it's going to turn into California burr clover, at least the vast majority of it is. If you have a lawn, which I'm sure you do, you need to understand this about clover. And it doesn't matter if you want to kill it or if you want to, I don't know, keep it alive. If you want to seed it, you need to understand this. Let me show you my clover up close. I'm going to give you a little bit of a summary of what I'm going to do to my clover, and I'm going to give you the information that you need to know so that you can make informed decisions on what you do to your own lawn. This is a lawn space that is almost 100% Kentucky bluegrass. We've got some younger Kentucky bluegrass over here. It's more of a lime green. We've got some older Kentucky bluegrass over here, which is more of a darker green. None of the Kentucky bluegrass here is more than 4 months old. It's all about 3 months or younger. Within the Kentucky bluegrass, we've got a whole bunch of California burr clover that has been coming up during the establishment phase. A couple months ago, I had nothing. So almost all of this stuff that you see right here is basically new sprouts. It probably just came up from seed. In the very beginning, I applied some mesotrione, some tenacity to prevent this stuff from coming up, and it worked pretty good, but eventually it wore off and I never reapplied. So now, here we are. And this is exactly what you need to understand about clover in your lawn. If you don't want to kill the clover, but you do want to manage other kinds of weeds, so this applies to those of you with clover lawns, or those of you who have clover in your lawn and you don't want to get rid of it because you like the look, or maybe you want the flowers, you want to provide those flowers for the pollinators in your lawn, maybe you don't want to fertilize as often, and you like the concept of nitrogen fixation that the clover provides. Whatever the reason is, if you don't want to kill the clover, but you want to kill the rest of the weeds in your lawn, 2,4-D that's your best herbicidal option for applying to the lawn to kill everything other than the clover. Now, it's going to damage the clover, it's going to stunt that clover if you apply 2,4-D to the lawn, but it's not going to kill it, it's going to come back. Another option out there is Effie Hetta. That's more on the natural side. It's going to be less aggressive on everything, including the clover, but it will work as well. I've applied Effie Hetta all by itself many times, and I have a number of videos on this channel touting it as an excellent option. Now, another herbicide that you could put on the lawn that's going to kill many weeds but only damage the clover without really killing it is MCPA. It's not really a product that homeowners can very easily get all on its own. There might be some ways out there, but I can't do it. 2,4-D is very easy to buy on its own. I'll link to it down below. I don't own a bottle of it as a standalone, but it's pretty inexpensive. You can buy it numerous places online and probably even locally. So all of this is good to know, because if you want to kill clover, if you're one of those people, then you should keep in mind that 2,4-D and MCPA are probably the weakest herbicides to actually kill it. Any herbicide that is heavy on either of those two is most likely only going to damage the clover, especially if it is mature. Now, what I got back here, this is very immature clover. So if I did apply 2,4-D all by itself, it might kill all of it completely, simply because it's immature, simply because it's not fully established. If you do have an established patch of clover and you want to get rid of it, then you have to be using something that is far more potent, or something that clover is far more susceptible to. Of the most common herbicides available to homeowners, lawn owners, as I like to say, is you've got triclopyr, quinclorac, and dicamba. And if you want to prevent the germination of new clover, you're going to be putting down mesotrione. Dicamba is regularly found in mixture products. So the 2-ways, the 3-ways, the 4-way products kind of provide you a cocktail of herbicides to give you a broad spectrum of kill. You're usually going to find small concentrations of dicamba in many of those products. Dicamba will kill clover very well. If you get it all by itself, it's probably going to be the strongest kill. So if you don't want to kill clover and you're using a product that has dicamba in it, you probably want to put it aside and use something else. If you do want to kill the clover, then make sure to grab the bottle with the heaviest concentration of dicamba. Two of the most common multifaceted weed kill products out there are Triad Select and Speed Zone. Both of these products are used all over the place by many lawn owners. If you look at the label, Triad Select has almost twice the concentration of dicamba as Speed Zone. So if clover is your main target, then you're going to be wanting to use Triad Select. Speed Zone's probably going to kill an awful lot of it, but Triad Select will kill the most. That illustration goes to any product out there. The bigger, the higher the concentration dicamba, the better the kill will be. Now you could also use standalone products like just straight triclopyr. Triclopyr is going to kill it very easily, and an awful lot of grass types can tolerate an application to triclopyr. Of course, you're going to want to know your own grass type and be able to check the label of the triclopyr product that you're using to make sure that your grass type is safe. But if it is, it's going to work fantastic all on its own. The same thing is going to go for quinclorac. Now, the typical lawn owner isn't going to have a bottle of standalone triclopyr or quinclorac in their garage. And those standalone bottles are going to be more expensive than purchasing standalone bottles of 2,4-D. So if you don't want to kill the clover, your weed control options are cheaper than if you want to control the clover. Now you could go ahead and grab some of these if you want to kill the clover off. You could grab a few or two of these things and mix them together yourself. In theory, if you could mix dicamba, quinclorac, and triclopyr together all on your own, so let's say for instance you got 3 products, you just mix them all together on your own, that would pretty much be the ultimate clover killing cocktail. And then of course, if you wanted to prevent it, you would throw in some tenacity for good measure. Now, a cool thing about applying triclopyr or quinclorac to a new lawn, like what I have back here, is that these products are mostly safe. There's my daughter right there. These products are mostly safe on new grass. So if you're growing Kentucky bluegrass or perennial rye or fescues to the lawn, these grass types can withstand an application of either of these 2 products so long as they're about a month past the sprout stage. Now here, my youngest Kentucky bluegrass over here is about 4 to 5 weeks old. So I don't personally feel comfortable quite yet applying either of the 2 products to it, although the label says that I probably could. If I were to wait a few more weeks, then I'm sure it would be 100% safe. Like, that's safe enough for me. I don't want to kill off Kentucky bluegrass, especially because it takes so long for it to germinate and mature and get established. So for my scenario right here, I'm going to be applying a heavy dose, let's call it a high-end dose of FE Hedta. That is, it's basically a special formulation of iron that's going to go onto the lawn. Grass, which is a monocot plant, is going to be able to withstand FE Hedta, and dicot plants, which clover falls into that category, are going to experience iron toxicity. Now, some of the youngest clover plants will probably die, but some of the ones that are a little bit more mature over there are probably only going to get stunted. That's going to give me time for a couple more weeks to pass before I can finally go and apply a more aggressive herbicide to do a full kill. I don't want the clover to get so established that it's going to resist all chemical treatments. I don't want to be applying more chemicals to this lawn than I have to. Now, for those of you viewers who are living outside of the state of California and you're dealing with far more mature patches of clover than you see right here, there is a product out there called Sublime. I don't own it because I cannot purchase it in the state of California. There's a couple other states out there, I think Hawaii and Alaska, that you can't buy this stuff in. But Sublime is a mixture of triclopyr and dicamba, like a heavy concentration of triclopyr and dicamba, and it has mesotrione in it, which means it's got 2 of the strongest clover killers of them all mixed with mesotrione, which is going to prevent additional clover germination over the next month or so. If I could buy Sublime, I would absolutely purchase that and apply this to the lawn probably in a couple weeks or so, once my Kentucky bluegrass is a little bit older. But because I can't, and because it's more complicated to mix these products myself in the garage, which of course I could do, I'm just going to go ahead and apply a handmade mixture of my own triclopyr and quinclorac. Mostly because my neighboring lawn over there has kikuyu and crabgrass and Bermuda grass. And both of those 2 products are going to help suppress or kill off those invading grasses that I don't want. I would say roughly 1% or less of this lawn space right here is kikuyu and Bermuda grass, but there is a little bit there. So triclopyr and quinclorac are going to help me in that regard as well. Long story short, know what the herbicides do and how clover responds to each herbicide. Whether you want to kill it off or protect it, a little bit of knowledge goes a long way. And lastly, if you got dandelions, that's a whole different thing. I got an entire video. I got like multiple videos about dandelions on this channel. Go ahead and watch this one next to see my experiment testing 3 different herbicides on a large patch of dandelions.